They show up when you least expect them, on license plates, on receipts, on clocks, at the exact moment you're deep in thought, or just after something shifts inside you. 111, 1111, 222, 444. Repeating numbers that seem to follow you. Not once, not twice, but over and over until ignoring them becomes harder than noticing them. You mention it to someone and they laugh. Coincidence, they say. Confirmation bias. Don't overthink it. But deep down, something feels different because these numbers don't just appear, they arrive. Not like data, like messages. Messages that bypass logic and speak directly to your inner knowing. That subtle vibration inside you that says, this means something, even if I can't explain why. And you're right, because these numbers are not just random. They are part of a language far older than words. A vibrational code that the universe uses to communicate with your soul. Not in sentences, in synchronicities. Because the universe doesn't speak English, it speaks in patterns. Patterns of frequency, patterns of resonance, patterns that reflect not what you believe, but what you are ready to remember. You're not seeing 1111 by accident. You're seeing it because something in you has shifted. Your signal has changed, and now it's answering. What you're seeing isn't a sign to look outside. It's an invitation to go inward, to decode not just the number, but yourself. Because once you understand the code, everything begins to align. To understand why you're seeing 1111, you have to first understand what numbers really are. They're not just symbols for counting, they are vibrational archetypes. Each one holds a frequency, a pulse within the structure of the universe. In the ancient world, numbers weren't used for spreadsheets. They were sacred. They mapped the divine order of reality. They described cycles, geometries, and energies that words could never capture. Pythagoras didn't just invent math. He revealed the music of the cosmos. He taught that numbers had character, essence, soul, that one wasn't just one, it was unity, origin, source, that two wasn't just two, it was polarity, the mirror, the first reflection of self, 3, creation, 4, stability, 5, change, and so on. So when you see repeating numbers like 1111, you're not just seeing coincidence, you're witnessing a vibrational message, a ping from the matrix that reality itself is beginning to respond to your field. 1111 is not just a number, it's a doorway. It shows up when something in you is aligning, when your thoughts, emotions, and energy begin to resonate on a higher frequency. It's not a reward. It's not a gift from angels hovering in the sky. It's a mirror, a reflection of where you are in your own awakening. You don't see 1111 because something is about to happen. You see it because something already has. And the number is there to make sure you notice it. It appears at the exact moment your subconscious starts cracking open. When the old beliefs don't feel as solid anymore. When the questions begin to echo louder than the answers you were given. 1111 isn't telling you what to do. It's telling you to stop, to pause, to become aware. Because awareness changes everything. It's the moment you stop running on autopilot and start moving with intention. The universe doesn't give you signs. It reflects your readiness. 1111 is often called the awakening code. But awakening to what? Not to a religion, not to a movement, to something far more personal. To the realization that reality is not fixed, that what you call life isn't a straight line, but a mirror, and the mirror just blinked back at you. You see, 1111 isn't a signal from somewhere out there. It's a signal from your own field of consciousness. It shows up when your inner world begins to sync with the deeper patterns of the outer world, when the noise starts to fall away, when the matrix begins to glitch, when the veil thins just enough for you to see through. Because this universe is built on code, not digital code, vibrational code. Everything has frequency. Everything emits a pattern, and those patterns interact, constructively or destructively, based on resonance. So when your energy starts resonating at a higher, clearer frequency, reality begins to speak back. Not in words, not in logic, in numbers, in alignments, in impossible timings that feel too perfect to be random. That's not superstition. That's structure. You've changed the signal, so the field around you has started sending pings, test signals, asking, are you awake yet? That's why it shows up in mundane places. Digital clocks, parking meters, receipts, not to be spiritual, but to interrupt the pattern of unconsciousness. It's not about where you see it, it's about when. Because the number always shows up at the threshold of something. A thought, a feeling, a decision, a shift. And your soul knows that, which is why it responds with that strange pull in your gut. That whisper, this means something. And it does. It means the program is breaking, the veil is lifting, and you're ready for more. If this is starting to feel familiar, it means you're waking up. Subscribe and turn on the bell. The remembering continues. 1111 may be the most well-known, but it's only one piece of a larger language. 222, 333, 444, 555. Each of them speaks a different frequency. Each one is a vibrational glyph, a pattern meant to reflect your internal alignment in the moment you see it. 222 appears when you're being asked to trust, not the world, but the unfolding. It's the number of balance, of duality, finding harmony. When your heart says one thing and your logic says another, 222 appears like a soft pulse in the matrix saying, yes, there is tension here. Yes, it's meant to be held, not solved. 333 often shows up when mind, body, and spirit are asking to be reunited. You're thinking too much, or not feeling enough. You're in your head or lost in emotion, and the number appears as a reset point, a request to recalibrate, to unify all three centers so you can move in wholeness again. 444, the number of grounding, structure, foundation. It arrives when you're in transition, when the old is falling but the new hasn't arrived. It says, build slowly, anchor into truth. Protect your roots before reaching for more sky. These numbers are not oracles. They don't predict the future. They echo your present. They appear not to give you answers, but to bring your awareness to what's happening inside you, right now. They are emotional timestamps. They freeze frame your frequency so you can look at it clearly. And when you do, something opens. Because it's not about chasing angel numbers. It's about learning to listen to what they're pointing toward. Your own signal, your own readiness, your own awakening rhythm. Not everyone sees these numbers, not because they're not chosen, but because they're not tuned. The numbers don't find you. You find them once your awareness reaches the resonance that matches the message, and that changes everything. Because when you stop asking, what does 1111 mean, and start asking, what is shifting in me when I see it, you graduate from seeker to decoder, and that's when the real work begins. Everything in the universe is built on number, not math as you know it, but the sacred geometry of vibration, proportion, and frequency. From the spirals of galaxies to the petals of a flower, from the shape of your DNA to the rhythm of your heartbeat, number governs form. Number reveals order. Number is the blueprint behind reality itself. The ancient initiates knew this. Pythagoras, Thoth, the Egyptian priests, the Vedic mystics. They didn't see numbers as tools. They saw them as archetypes, living energies that encode creation. 1111 is part of that language, a marker, a harmonic, a gate. It represents the moment the observer and the field begin to sync, when consciousness pierces the veil and recognizes itself reflected in time. Because this world you move through is not passive, it's responsive, not because you're special, but because consciousness, by nature, bends back to its source. And when your thoughts, emotions, and intentions begin to align in coherence, you activate a very specific broadcast pattern. Think of it like tuning a radio. You've been transmitting static for years, scattered thoughts, conflicting signals, emotional loops. But now, something clicks. The signal sharpens, the noise drops away, and the field around you responds. Not with fireworks, not with drama, with a whisper, a code, a reflection. 1111. Because the intelligence behind this universe is subtle. It doesn't shout, it doesn't command. It nudges, it mirrors, it codes, and when the code appears, you have a choice. Ignore it, chalk it up to chance, or engage with it. Feel what it's pulling to the surface. Because here's the deeper truth. These numbers are not trying to tell you something. They're trying to remind you of something you already know, that you are the code, you are the signal, you are the pattern trying to remember itself through form. And once you start to listen to that deeper signal, the numbers change, they evolve, they shift, and eventually they disappear. Because you no longer need them, you've tuned in. Eventually, the signs stop appearing. Not because the universe stops speaking, but because you've finally started listening. You don't need a clock to flash 1111 anymore because you've become the alignment it once pointed to. You don't chase signs because you've become one. And this is what the angel numbers were always leading you toward. Not dependence on the code, but embodiment of the frequency. You were never meant to follow patterns forever. You were meant to evolve beyond them. Because when 1111 no longer surprises you, when 222 feels like a quiet confirmation, not a dramatic symbol, you realize that synchronicity is not the universe rewarding you. It's you, reflected in motion. It's your coherence mirrored in the field. So where do you go from here? You stop asking, what does this mean? You start asking, what do I now choose to become? The signs brought you here. Now it's time to step beyond them, to move from awareness to embodiment, from seeing energy to being it. No longer waiting for signals, but walking as the signal. Not everyone will understand. Some will say it's nonsense. Others will think it's luck. Let them. Because what you now carry is not belief, it's resonance. And resonance can't be explained, only felt. If you've reached this point in the journey, you already know. You didn't find the numbers, they found you. And that means your remembering has begun. The only question now is, will you answer the call or wait for another sign? Because this time, the next message might not come from a screen. It might come from you.